It's for you, Russ.
It's my kind of music.
I love
this. That's like funky New Orleans jazz, man.
This is Harry James.
That's right.
1940s, yo.
We're cooking.
I don't think anybody has ever said yo and Harry James in the same sentence. On the Bernie and Sid show with my friend Russ Salzberg.
Look who's here.
And in studio with us
the
right
thespian.
now. Here he is. The award-winning. He is the thespian means actor.
Yeah, okay.
And that's you. That's
I think Russ is a little jealous being that we did take that trophy with the Critic Awards.
Yes, congratulations.
At the Critic Choice Award for Best Cast Assemblagation.
I'm not
you want to see my
jealous.
Award?
I'm happy for you.
You want to see my award?
I want to see your award.
My award.
Congratulations.
I was very honored to be part of that cast.
And you should.
Of, what's the name of the movie? The
Irishman. Yeah, right.
Yeah, well, actually, I was glad to see that because we were all pissed off this morning when you didn't get an Academy Award nomination.
Well, you know what? People have to realize one thing, and I love you brought up about my dear friend Denzel Washington. Denzel, I was very fortunate to be a producer with Martin Bregman with a movie called The Bone Collector with Denzel Washington.
Great movie. Yeah,
Angelina Jolie. Denzel Washington is hands down not just a great, probably one of the greatest actors ever, but hands down one of the greatest human beings. He is so charitable, the guy. You don't hear nothing about it. Denzel Washington is the man, hands down. It ain't a black and white thing. He's just a great actor, great human being. Stop the bull crap back and forth. The reality is, I don't love this Jonathan Phoenix. What's his name, that guy?
Joaquin.
That guy, too. Whatever the hell his name is. Joaquin. I hated the movie, but he was outstanding. He's the best actor that there is for all the nominations. He just was fabulous. When you look at an actor, you see how this guy took it down, where he lost 45, 50 pounds. He became that psychopathic person there. And people have to look at that. Even though I love my Al Pacino, and I don't love De Niro, but I love Al Pacino, and I love Joe Pesci. I love these guys.
Yeah.
But for some reason, when you look at an actor, this guy, and you're an actor, Russ, you know where I'm going with this. Because in reality, it ain't a black and white thing.
No,
man.
that's
the best person in the story.
If you heard me earlier, Bo, and I'm dead serious when I say that, if you're going to bitch and moan and complain that we don't have, this woman wasn't nominated for a best director or we don't have enough color, then just do me a favor. Tell me who should be replaced.
Well,
but if you're not going to tell me who should be replaced, that means you don't have the cojones to say that, because the people who have been nominated deserve to be nominated.
Right, now all of a sudden Eddie Murphy pops out of nowhere and does a movie, and he acted okay. I mean, you can't compare with this Phoenix guy with Eddie Murphy. Let's be real about it. And even Adam Sandler, who I like very much, Adam Sandler did a great part in there, but you can't compare what this guy Phoenix did. But that's what the Academy Awards were all about.
And Adam Sandler is not bitching and moaning.
No,
he handled it with fun.
Yeah, and it was a really defunkitation movie, a little depressing at the end and all that. But it's all about the same thing we're talking about now with the crime issue, with the reform. But now all of a sudden, my friend Letitia James, who I happen to like a lot, is jumping ugly now about that there's more brown and black people arrested for fare beating. Let's get real about it. I talk to transit cops all the time. I talk to all cops. You show me a memo, or you show me, let me hear something where it says, do not arrest a white guy that fare beats, only arrest black and Hispanic. That's bullcrap. And you want to know something? The reality is maybe, just maybe, there's more black and Hispanics jumping over the turnstiles, and will heads be more arrested.
That was going to be my question.
Bingo!
Let the chips fall where they may.
And I'm going to tell you something. Instead of Letitia James worrying about people jumping over turnstiles, which everyone should be locked up, whether you're white, black, Asian, I don't give a crap. You fare beat, you get locked up. And I guarantee you this new commissioner will say that. And I stand by him because he's a good man, this new commissioner, and he'll make a directive. Everyone gets locked up who jumps the fare beat. Also, Letitia James, my friend, I love you very much. I have a lot of respect for you. Why don't we start worrying about $1 billion Operation Thrive with Charlene de Blasio and Mayor de Blasio? For some reason, You heard of the Teflon Don? This guy's the Teflon mayor. Every time there's a pay-for-play, you had those two Jewish guys from Brooklyn there, Rasheen and the other guy, what's the name of them?
Yeah,
the two Jewish
they
guys.
went to jail.
They went to jail for bribery. But who did they bribe? They bribed
De Blasio.
So that bribery, you have to have someone giving, someone receiving. Duh.
And Preet Bharara couldn't get him convicted, couldn't get an indictment.
No. Point is, right now, the U.S. Attorney's Office of the Southern District should be worrying about the corruption in this city that's getting swept. I flavored upon that corruption when I ran for mayor, when the head of the Department of the Elections Board, the head of the election board, would not let me go on the Democratic Party. I hired Connor as a lawyer. Cost me $40,000. I got knocked off. Supreme Court, Appellate Court, and Court of Appeals. You know who was there? De Blasio's general counsel. What was he doing in my courtroom when I'm running for mayor? So they would keep me off the ballot, which they did. There's so much corruption in this city. I call upon the Southern District, United States Attorney's Office, to investigate. That other guy who's a fool and a fraud, the head of the Board of Education.
Oh, Carranza.
Where all the investigations. And that other guy that was sucking on some little boy there, that punk, they never did a background on that guy.
Hey, you're right. He was a top executive.
Right, and now the point is, every time there's an investigation into the Department of Education, for some reason, de Blasio stops the investigation. We can't have a proper... The only ones they investigate are the poor cops for doing their jobs. And you know what? There's somebody, is a whistleblower, boop, 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 that's saying, I'm going to have a lawsuit against the New York City Police Department because they're not arresting enough fare beaters that are white. That's going to... And you know what they'll do? They'll give them a couple $1 million.
By the way, it's the reason for this no cash bail law, this criminal justice reform law, is because the reason is... It disproportionately affects people of color, which is so stupid.
Yeah, but maybe that is the type of person that's committing the crime.
Well, not maybe. That is exactly the case. But here, the victims also are disproportionately people of color. So you're excusing the person of color who is a thug so he can victimize the person of color who is an innocent, hardworking person.
Bingo. Hello.
Bingo. Now, the other part of it is, I was talking to some cops the other day. I was at a wedding, and they showed me the crimes. First of all, this criminal reform bill that numbnuts, the governor, and I'll tell him right to his face, you're a numbnut for passing.
You got blood on your hands.
Somebody in your family should get victimized, and
God
I want to see what you say.
You're 100% right.
Listen to this. First, it was going to be nonviolent crimes. I am for bail reform. If a guy's got $1,000 bail on a nonviolent crime, we should let him out. Violence was supposed to be violent crimes. We're going to have bail. Now they're letting them out with violence. Armed robbery in the first degree, they're letting out with no bail. Where is the sensibility here? Mr. Governor, wake up. Wake up. You want to go to Puerto Rico? How about clearing up what you're doing in New York State first?
He's going to assess the damage in Puerto Rico. How about assessing the damage?
He'll walk around with one of these white shirts on.
Look,
like
assess the
Puerto Rican.
Assess the damage of the woman who got her teeth knocked out. That you allowed the guy, the thug that did it, to get out of jail,
or the cop who got sucker punched.
How about punching a cop in the face, and which is an assault in the second degree, and the guy's patting his lawyer on the back as he walks out.
5 minutes. He was out 5 minutes. But Bo, let me ask you this: you talk about cops doing their job. Bernie and I were questioning about this before, and we haven't heard anything about it for the past week. Poor Tessa James, Morningside, killed. Tessa Majors. So we're talking about Letitia James, Tessa Majors. So explain to me. I'm asking you, being a former cop, what's taken so long for something to come back? The DNA was supposed to come back. We haven't heard anything, and this kid is still out.
The killers have not been charged.
You got the 13-year-old still in custody.
Okay, I'm going to tell you right. I'm glad you hit the nail on the head. I had the same cop I was talking to. He made a gun arrest. Guy had a gun. Now, all of a sudden, the DA, you got to confer with the friggin' DA when you make poo-poo in the toilet bowl. Mr. DA, Mrs. DA, can I make poo-poo? But the point is, they wanted the cop, after he arrested the guy with the gun, to get a search warrant that he tossed the guy. My point is, cops are not able to make arrests the way they used to be. They have to confer with the DA's office like they're children. But yet, you call upon the cops to be a judge and jury on the street. And when they get involved, they get in trouble. That's why the majority of cops are walking around not getting involved, and these punk gang guys are all packing guns, and there's more guns out on the street than ever before. No one is stop and frisk. It's a good tool. It was overly used, but it can be used very sensibly. But to wipe it out completely, where cops are afraid to challenge somebody because they're afraid of the problems they're going to have from the DA's office. Hey, Mr. Cy Vance, why don't you worry about the corruption in this city with your special investigators? Why don't you go after this mayor and all these other creeps in this city with this pay-for-play, Mr. Cy Vance? You sit in your little office downtown, right, and these poor cops are out there working day and night, and you're judging them what they're doing.
Harvey Weinstein's pal, Cy Vance, and Eric Gonzalez in Brooklyn. Look, you have these activist DAs, activist judges who side with the thugs as opposed to the hardworking citizens. It is a public safety crisis. We're witnessing it in real time, and sadly, Bo, you're not still on the force.
No, but I'm going to tell you something honestly. I just feel for every cop out there.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I feel for every cop because I talk to them all the time. And like I said, Sunday I was at a wedding and I was talking to a couple of cops, and their whole insides have been ripped out, and they're just out there.
Look,
they're not doing their job because they get every time they do their job, they're getting judged.
They're out there.
The guy who got the bucket of water put over their heads. That guy got 10 days of community service. He was charged with felonies, and they gave him 10 days of community service. I wouldn't want to be a cop either, not in New York City especially.
I've been talking about this bail reform before it was passed for months here. People don't realize what was going on. But when I saw the regulatory stuff with my own eyes of what they're allowed to bail, now the judge is off the hook because the judge says, well, I have no control over releasing him
as
on
opposed
bail.
to Jersey, which it is under the judge's discretion.
Well, you want to know something? You're a friggin' judge, a Governor Cuomo. Why don't you give these judges some responsibility? You're a judge. You should weigh out if it's a repetitive felon that's being charged with a violent felony, and let him make a decision, Mr. Governor, because the first one that gets killed, Mr. Governor, I want to get my man Tacopina, or I want to get my other man Arthur Dalla to sue you personally for passing this bill, and the blood of the people are going to be on your hands, Mr. Governor.
That's right. It's Governor Cuomo. He's the face of this criminal justice
reform. People should write to him and say,
right.
Hey, listen to me. Stop eating some spaghetti, and I'll say it. I'm Italian, okay? And it ain't nothing slur. Stop eating spaghetti, people, and you're not coming to Rayos with me, Mr. Governor, until you pull this reform bill back. If you pull this reform bill back, I'll take you to Rayos, and you can have some fish salad and macaroni and meatballs, okay, Mr. Governor?
Oh, do us a favor. Next time you come, bring a little energy with you.
No, but let me tell you.
Buongiorno, Bo. We got to go.
You know who'll never be at Rayos with me? This mayor. I don't want him up there. But the governor has to repeal this bill on his own. He has to weigh it out. He's a smart man. And his dad, who I love, Mario Cuomo, please, Mario, call upon your son to gain some vitality,
some spine, some
balls, and pull this thing back and reform it.
Thanks, Bo. With Bernie and Sid and Russ Salzberg, we're coming right back.